Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is the 10th of October 2022. This video should have been done yesterday on the 9th of October on Sunday. However, I was out of town, so my apology. And let's start. There are many things are happening in the Middle East area, specifically in Iran, and the young people in all universities of Iran are coming out fighting the system that it is ruling them since 1979, and that is, they call it mullah system, or the mullah is the head of the Islamic authority in the Shiite Muslim. In the Sunni sect, they call him imam or sheikh. So it's a bit different, but it is the same thing. Anyway, last week's video, I was actually hesitant, and I'm still hesitant to say that this will take off. I hope it will, and let's see. Okay. Why I am hesitant? I'm hesitant because this is a system that it is brutal. Don't think only the communist system is brutal, because if we remember in 1989, I believe it was in June 1989, when the situation of the Tiananmen Square in China took place, when the government sent tanks to the streets and they crushed the protesters, or the people who were seeking freedom. Okay, all dictatorships are afraid of freedom, the average person to be free. Because if the average person is free, reality is he or she will tell the government what to do. The government doesn't want that. They want to tell you what to do. That is in the communist system. Well, socialism and communism is just technical terms. They are practically the same. But they don't like each other, similar to that between Muslim Sunni and Muslim Shia. There are two sides of one coin. Anyway, similarly is the Muslim Sunni and the Muslim Shia. They are both the same. It's just they were divided because they wanted to know who is to be in the authority position, who is the leader who can collect the money. That's it. Other than that, they are both the same. Okay. So why I was hesitant is because, and it could still happen, I hope it doesn't. And the reason I am leaning more that it may not happen, because in 1989 we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have the social media, we didn't have even email back then. So things were very different, and society was so closed, especially in a country like China in 1989. So when the government sent the troops and sent the tanks into public square and streets and start shooting people, nobody there to take video and put these videos on the internet to show the atrocity of what's going on. Today in Iran, that could happen within few seconds. The whole world would know what this authority or this government is doing to the people. And it could really what I see now is they are in a situation, the Iranian government are in a situation, they are between the anvil and the hammer. If they do something, it has to be radical and it could bring their end. If they don't do anything, it could also bring their end. But that's the situation with any regime that people don't want. It has to come to an end one way or another. So I'm hoping that will happen soon. Because the people of Iran and the people of this region have suffered tremendously of this ideology that came to us 1,400 years ago. Definitely, there is no one can doubt that. Even just the fact that these countries are practically retarded. They are in the tails of all other civilization. Yeah, and you are talking about the Egyptian culture before the coming of Islam, the Persian, the Iraqi culture. All these were developed countries. Now, sorry. Okay, so what I see that the young people are still out there calling. Just the slogan that they are using is very dangerous to the ideology that the country is based on. Not just the Shiite ideology, but also the Sunni ideology, because they are calling for women right. When you call for women right, this ideology says women are deficient by nature. God created them deficient in their mind and in their heart. So I don't know how much you try to make 90 cents $1. You can't do it. It's still 90 cents. So if the woman is 90% of a man by nature, regardless of how much you do, to bring her to 100%, it's impossible, because that is her capacity. 90% or 80% or whatever percent they perceive woman is deficient. So they are calling, when the women go out, take the headscarf off, and they call for their right as women to be equal. Yeah, this can happen in a Western country or even Eastern countries like Japan, China, Korea. People can call for that, and that's okay for a woman to call for woman's right. That's okay. But when you do that in these countries that they adapt that ideology that came to us 1400 years ago, if the ideology say the woman is deficient and then you give them the right to be equal to man, you are going against the faith. Then the faith is no good. And that's why I see the mullah in Iran and the imam or the sheikh in Sunni countries, they are now in a dilemma that they don't know how to come out of. If they give women's right, if they give them the right and the equality they are calling for, then you are admitting that your faith is deficient. And that's a huge dilemma. They are calling for freedom. Who wants to be a slave or under oppression from any ideology? Any. Even the most beautiful ideology on earth. I want to think freely and accept it and follow it freely if I want. Not pushed on me, not pushed down my throat by force. To tell me or to tell my wife that you are deficient in mind and heart. No. I myself don't want that. Okay? I don't want to marry a deficient woman. And actually, men should stand up and speak out. My wife is not deficient. My mother was not deficient. My daughter is not deficient. The ideology is plain and simple. Because if a man accepts his mother to be deficient, his wife to be deficient, his daughter to be deficient, his sister to be deficient, he is also deficient. Because it was a woman who gave him birth. And if she is deficient, he is deficient. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to come to this conclusion, but anyway, one more slogan they are chanting in Iran is to get rid of government, the existing government. And the existing government is the mullah government, is the traditional Islamic way of life that it came to us 1400 years ago. So to call this government to come down, to destroy it, you are indirectly actually calling for the destruction of the faith. And that gives the notion people, and is not only when a woman in an Islamic country calling for that. Rest assured that men too are sick of that. Okay? But they were not calling for that because, in a way, they didn't want to open a bloodbath, the way to a bloodbath. Because if men had done that, they would be caught, tortured, killed, because they are trying to destroy the faith. But now men are joining women in public square in Iran to call for that destruction of that system, which is Islamic. So at the end, they are calling for the end of Islam. At the end, that movement is calling for the end of Islam. It's a good sign, to tell you the truth. It's a good sign. There is a saying that it says, in America at least, if you accepted communist ideology and you found out that it doesn't work, you have to shoot your way out of it. In 1997, we remember for those who are older than that, born before that, we remember the Iranian revolution, that it was the left started by the left because of the dissatisfaction with the Shah of Iran, Pahlavi, and they wanted him out. They took him out, and as usual, the Muslim or the Islamist or whatever you call them so that they don't remove the video, the Islamist took over from the left, and they are both pretty similar. So they worked together in the beginning to get rid of the Shah. I'm not saying the Shah was an angel or doing everything correct. Yes, I'm aware of the history. But you replace the Shah with this dictatorship, that it put Iran in a very difficult situation. And the Iranian people, and many fled, especially the well-educated and the wealthy. They went to Canada, United States, England, and so on and so forth. What happened in that revolution when the Muslim controlled it, and it became the mullah system. The mullah system is the Islamic Shiite system. The notion came to the Sunni, which is about 73% of the Muslim population are Sunni. So they are the majority. The Shiite are about 23%. So when the Muslim Sunni saw the success of the Shiite Muslim took over a government, and it became Islamic Shiite government. They got the idea, wow, we can do that too, and we are bigger number, so we can actually control the world, and later we can get rid of these Shia, destroy them or kill them or take them over or force them to become Sunni. Anyway, they gave that idea to the Muslim Sunni, and from that moment on, Muslim Sunni worked all over the Islamic world tirelessly to bring about the domination of Islam, not just in the Islamic countries, but later on to the whole world. I remember I have seen in the mid-90s or early 90s in New York City, in Manhattan, where it's, the real estate in this area is extremely expensive. However, the money came from Saudi Arabia. Of course, Saudi Arabia now, it's 5 years ago and today, very different country. But mid-90s, the petrodollar was coming by the billions all over the world to support the Islamic movement and the Islamic faith and the Islamic ideology all over the world. And that luxurious grand mosque built in Manhattan, one of the most expensive real estate area. Not to generate money, not to make, let's say, a shopping mall or something that it can produce. No, to build a grand mosque. And the money was coming from Saudi Arabia. So they had that dream back then. As the Iranians succeeded to build and to they got away with many things to make an Islamic system as a government. Let's start with all the Muslim countries in North Africa and Egypt and all the Islamic country, Islamize them and make them radical. And then later on we can conquer the rest of the world. All that changed in September 11, 2001, when the terrorist activity, that was Sunni, by the way, the hijackers, they were all Sunni because they were working towards this ideal. Okay? And later on, we know they came to an end actually in the Middle East and in North Africa. And where I am myself grateful that this happened, because in Egypt in 2011, when they got rid of President Mubarak, and then that Muslim Brotherhood leader was put, his name was Mohammed Morsi, he was put to start to do what Iran had done, but on the Sunni side. And then the idea was to spread to the rest of the Islamic countries, and then to bring that to the world. So in a way, that revolution was born 1979 in Iran to try to control the whole world under the Islamic system, whether it's Sunni Islam or Shiite Islam, it's still Islam. I see that the very same country that it started this is the country that it's shooting its way out of this. Iran it's shooting its way, and it's the student who actually made this happen in 1979, and it's also the students who are making this happens again today, 2022. And therefore, I hope that this can come to an end and we can see hope coming to Iran, because if they succeed in Iran to shoot their way out, the Sunni countries will be next. They will shoot their way out, and Islam, in the real sense now, is we see it unraveling, unraveling. I know that many people will not like that, but it is what it is. Thank you very much. We hope to hear from you. Please share and comment and subscribe. Thank you.